Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Iron Panther Presents. Today, Jemani and I shall be discussing the new special from Kevin Hart, so we're gonna get into that. Jemani, we'll start with you. What did you think of his new show?
Um, it wasn't his best. It wasn't his worst. Um, I'm like, is it was on Peacock, so I'm like, I didn't find out about it until the day it came out.
Okay.
Um, I don't know. It was kind of like um underwhelmingly like promoted in the regards of like it was all this talk about okay his he went on tour with Chris Rock. All right, they had the co-headlining thing. Even Dave Chappelle went out for like the European tour leg of things or whatever, three-headed monster type of situation. And then Chris Rock, shoots his load like 4 months ago with Netflix, and we're hearing about Kevin Hart's father dying, and there's going to be material in the act in regards to that. And you just find out, oh, it's coming out the day it comes out, and then it's like, I don't know. I just kind of thought it would be more of a build up, more, um, I don't know, more themed. Like I don't know. I thought it wouldn't just be a section where you just talked about his father. I thought it would have been a lot more. Um, it would have just had more of a theme. It really didn't seem like it had like there was like a through line for or a narrative for the stories he was telling with the jokes. It just seemed like a set.
Well, yeah, he's a comedian. You know what I'm saying? I mean, with his other specials, what now? Like, I mean, there was a theme. You know what I'm saying? Like he started off with, "Why do I call this special What Now?" Like, because people ask me that question, "What now?" With this, I thought that reality check, he really didn't bring that home. So the thing was reality check, but I didn't hear a reality check in him for this. Like my dad's death gave me a reality check that life is short. I'm assuming to your point that this is where I need to get my head right, and like that sort of thing. With previous specials, he kind of like Big Little Man, like it was a theme, and a lot of his other specials were movies. I mean, they put it like it was encased in a movie. Like the one he did with Halle Berry in it. Like he had Don Cheadle. Like he put like even his new early stuff. Like I mean, had like a movie like almost encompassing a part of it. Like this was a comedy show. Like we're not used to him just doing a set. Like like just that by itself. There's some kind of theme to it. But for Peacock, he just kind of put out the show for that. And then a lot of people said, "Why Peacock?" I mean, to like again, I didn't know about it until you put it in the text. Um, but people were like, everybody was like, "What about Netflix?" Like we're just used to Netflix being the go-to for Black comedians, or like with
I
Dave
won't say
Chappelle.
just black comedians, just Netflix is the place for comedians just in general. Like I'm like, it wasn't just Monique that was bitching about getting a Netflix special. You had like um, Joe Coy, who was like, I was trying to get a Netflix special for like 10 years or something.
But I'm saying, but like, I mean, to this point that it was Dave Chappelle, it was Chris Rock. I mean, I'm saying it was Kevin Hart. Like, it was like, it seemed to be like, this is where you went now. Like, especially like post like COVID, where like, you couldn't make it like, in the, you couldn't go live on stage. I'm saying like the theaters weren't, doing a lot of things. Like Netflix just became the platform for people to kind of put out their content, especially with comedy shows. Like we stopped going to comedy shows because of this. So I was like, why am I spending and dealing with traffic, spending money dealing with traffic to go see a show that I'm going to watch at home almost word for word in a couple of months? So I'm like, I got it. Like, let me explain to your point of themes. When he did Let Me Explain, that was right after he got caught with that girl in Vegas, and that was part of the thing. Like, well, let me explain, right? Like, and he kind of did that. You know, to your point of a theme. But I thought it was professional, right? Like the reason I got Chris Rock and Marlon Wayans behind me is because I think Kevin Hart's special was far better than both of them. To me, because Chris Rock was all over the place. Like I love Chris Rock as a comedian, but his shit was all over the place. Like he clearly did not have a plan. Like when he got up there, and Kevin Hart did and it was conversational. Like he did go from one subject to another, but that's what comedians do. Like a good comedian can keep it going, but you know he has a plan. You know, and I thought that was better. Yeah, but definitely better organized than Chris Rock's special. How about?
But better than I understand Chris Rock because we, you know, everybody had criticism about Chris Rock's special, like it. But Marlon Wayans,
yes.
I think
Marlon Wayans, and I said it then, and I will say it again. Marlon Wayans spent a whole hour bitching about how Will Smith ruined his life and how Chris Rock ruined his life. And I'm like, you touch on, like Kevin Hart touched on, like he brought the bat in, right? So he's touching on the fact that like Dave Chappelle almost got attacked on stage. He touched on it and he moved on. Like he touched on the Will Smith issue and then he moved on, right? Like it wasn't a whole hour of let me talk about somebody else's shit. So like that's what got on my nerves. Because really looking back on it, Marlon Wayans should be complaining about Kevin Hart because Kevin Hart has eclipsed all of the whole Wayans family, really. You know what I'm saying? Like he's the go-to black comedian. If you talk about Hollywood has one black one in comedy, that's Kevin Hart. Like right now, like so I would say Marlon Wayans should be mad at Kevin Hart for taking all his shine. Not fucking Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like it was Marlon Wayans was well put together. It was organized, but the content was just too repetitive. Like for me, as Kevin did other shit. Like you know, he was able to move between family and friends and Will Smith and George Floyd, which I was really impressed with. That he did a genuinely unique, funny perspective on the George Floyd, you know, aftermath, which I thought was something he usually doesn't do. He won't do social justice issues. He consciously he sticks to friends and family. But I thought he did a good job of showing the funny part of when celebrities want to all of a sudden become activists and the consequences of such on people.
I'm like, I guess that could have been the reality check part, but it was just like smushed in the middle. Like I think that should have been towards the end or like the closing joke, and then it would have might tied the title together with the.
So he started. So the George Floyd thing was the last thing because the last joke was he couldn't find his car when he got maced or something. Like he was in the protest in L.A. Like he went to the George Floyd funeral. And he didn't know what to say, and then he ended up in a march in Beverly Hills or something, and then like he was being chased by the cops, and then he didn't know where his car was, and the Latino dude was like, "Hey, do you let me show you where your car is?" And I was like, hilarious, because he brought back the whole Mexican dialect thing, which somehow didn't feel racist, but I feel like it was, but somehow it wasn't. But when he did it, I was rewatching when he did it when he says friends with the Mexico, and he's like, these aren't real Mexican words, but I'm gonna say them anyway. like that shit reminded me when he was like, have you noticed like when R&B singers sing, like they don't say anything, like they just kind of move their hands, but it's gonna sound like they're about to sing something, and he just sit there and did this shit, and it was like hilarious. like he said absolutely nothing, but I was like, he's good. Like he's really good. I would say yes, I didn't laugh out loud. Like I agree with you that I didn't like there was humorous things, but nothing that I was like like and I fell on the ground and laughed about. No. But still well put together. And current. What about the whole shitting thing? Like I did this is my first time.
Well, wait, before you get to that,
let
me just tell you, I was in an Uber yesterday, right?
Okay.
And the lady who was driving was speaking.
She shit it?
No, she was speaking. No, Spanish. She was speaking entirely in Spanish on the phone, right?
Okay.
And my rudimentary, public school education of Spanish was able to discern that like she's talking to somebody and they're like shitting on a guy, right?
Okay.
But I couldn't understand anything other than, they're just going in on,
Some dude.
yeah. But
Okay.
I'm like, the cadence in which she's saying the words, I was like, but it sounds so sexy though. It's like she could just be saying she could be talking shit about me, but it sounds so sexy.
Oh, all right. All right. I'm assuming you're trying to relate this to Kevin Hart's.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I'm
uh,
like,
uh,
it's just the cadence is just it's something about it.
that's why it's a love language, Jamani. But I was not there, so I will leave it to you to be the judge of that. Um, did you have a favorite joke in this set?
Um, yeah, it was probably the um the shit joke like that, like that. Having had seen the video and totally forgotten about it because it was so long ago, it just it just brought back the memory of it, and just it was funny as hell. Like I don't the whole way he described it and everything, it was just it
His
eclipsed everything.
his description was far more funnier than what really happened. And he's like she shit in her own hand in perfect timing and threw it. I was like, no, she didn't. She's like pulled it off the ground and threw it. But it was still hilarious the way he said it, like his dramatic rendition of the story. I was like, hilarious. Um, I liked the I liked his dad. Like he's good with the family stuff. I love the way he tried to remember his dad and the jokes about the oxygen, because my mom, she was on oxygen before she died. So that's a real thing. I remember watching his "Don't Fuck This Up." I think the special he did after he cheated on his wife, and that was like had his dad in it, and when he was on oxygen, you can see him walk around with the oxygen tank. So I thought it was cool. Like he was trying to bring that back. Um, his brother may or may not really, had a fake dog. Like I thought that was hilarious. Like once I rewatched it, it's like how does a pretend dog go missing, and you put up lost missing posters. I was like, hilarious. Like thank you, thank you, Kevin Hart.
I'm like that goes back to imaginary friends and pet rocks.
Yeah. I was like, but but I thought I was like, this is out, whether it's true or not. Like he makes it sound realistic. His opening bit about BBLs and like this whole like plastic surgery was funny. He's like, they look like ants, and I was like, I didn't think about it until he said it, and I was like, yes. I was like, it's like he said, small head, big chest and a big old ass and a small waist. They look like ants. And I was like, all right, I can see where you're going with that. I can see that. And then that led to, what if you don't think things through and you get your own plastic surgery, and then I put fat in my knees and I'm too tall, but my arms are still the same size. I was like, hilarious. I was like, this original.
Because I had heard like the ant part before, just over the years, but that part about not thinking it through and you know, because he went into all the things that could occur, like short arms, you look like a T-Rex, and all like it was just yeah, that was original taken real.
That was good. I mean, it was good. The whole I'm not, I don't have patience for unattractive people. I was like, hilarious. I was like, the guy holding them up at the bank. I was like, good. But then he was the young attractive person with the young lady he was talking to at the Starbucks or whatever. I was like, hilarious. I mean, he kept it together. The voice that when he did Will Smith, the voice he used for Will Smith was similar to the voice he used back in the day for he didn't like to hear women cry. Like he said, hey, listen to a woman cries, like listen like to the first slave who's ever walked or some silly shit. And I was like, but it was the same cadence of voice. And I was like, all right. So I was like, so I mean, he was able to pull from like other material, you know what I'm saying, or other characters, like to kind of bring this one together. Um, I thought that was pretty good. I thought it was pretty solid. And I like the fact that he didn't shit on his kids like he usually does. His son in particular, like his first son, like he's gone years shitting on that boy, like saying like he was stupid, like over time, like my son is just dumb. Like he did quite a few jokes, sets about that. And then the one that I stopped watching was, did you see the one where he did at his house like during COVID?
Yeah.
And he was like, my daughter is having like whole like tendencies or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, you shouldn't do that. And like he just stopped that. Like that's one thing. He was like, I'll never go back to that. Like somebody gave him some feedback that wasn't a good idea. He doesn't make fun of his new kids.
See, I
would say.
I think as a comedian, he divorced, like he knows that it's funny and is a good joke, but I guess people at his house or people within his life don't find it to be funny, or but it's funny to everybody else. So it's kind of like maybe he should find a way to tell the same joke, but just not say directly that this is my daughter, this is my son. He can
Well, I mean, no, I mean a lot of again, he said I don't do political, I don't do like social stuff. Like I like to leave that to like Chris Rock or like Dave Chappelle, like he said that. So a lot of his stuff is family and friends. Like a lot of comedians, like they kind of stay in that space. Like, but I just think it's interesting that he only makes fun of his first family. Like he only makes fun of his first son with his ex-wife. He only made fun of his first daughter. He has never made a joke about his new kids or his new wife. Like, not like when he first came out, like he shitted on his wife at the time, like for a lot of his material. And like he doesn't do any of that. And I was like, I'm pretty sure because he still wants to stay married. So like, so he doesn't do that. But I did notice that as he's gone.
I think his little what was it, in Vegas or whatever scandal, I think that was the
Reality
he reached his embarrassment threshold there, so he couldn't really take material to put on stage with that family because he'd already met that threshold.
Probably. I mean, I do remember. Let me explain. Where like at the end, he was saying like he was trying to have sex with his wife. He couldn't get her the orgasm, and at the end of it was, I think it was Seal. Like they were skiing at some like resort, and like Seal spit at him, and like it missed him but landed on his wife, and she had an orgasm, and that was like the end of the joke. And I was like, hilarious. I was saying, but like that was probably last time like he's done like a family thing, but it was still more lighthearted than like again like what you do by what you do by his son. His joke about being like his aging, like I didn't realize he's only 2 years younger than me, and then I'm like, damn, what have I done with my life? Because he is quite wealthy, and I am not. but I mean, to be like age is caught up with him, and it's like I used to be able to drink before, I can't drink now. I'm like, yes, 40 does cause things to start failing on you. He, to my point, like the reason I bring it up is because like you can see in comedians when like, especially I think for some reason, maybe I just watch a lot of black comedians, but like it seems like age creeps up on them, and then their material ages with them. Like now he's like he almost talking like he's in his 50s, but he's only in his 40s. But it's like he's an old man now looking at the future generation. Like Chris Rock is like,
isn't that what? Yeah, that's what you were saying about Chris Rock, like how in his other specials it was talking about a certain type of woman. Now he's looking at trying to get the opposite.
Yeah. Like he was, because like now he's in his 50s, and he's like, I gotta get out here to start dating again. So I need a young woman. When he was younger, he's like, I need an older woman. But like it changes with their age and where they're at in life. You know what I'm saying? So like I wonder if Kevin Hart can keep the same audience. as he ages.
I'm like, I think he's the same audience. Yeah, I think he'll keep the same audience, not the same type of audience.
All right, hold on. Oh, we got 2 comments. I'm sorry, I'm over here the wrong thing. DeMarcus, Kevin Hart has fallen out in the past 2 years. Kevin Hart has fallen out in the past 2 years. So so he used to be better. Well, he said he hasn't been on tour in 4 years. Is what he said in this special. And yeah, anyway, I thought what was the special he did after COVID? This is not his first special after COVID, right? This is his second.
No, this is his first special after COVID because he did the other special during COVID.
All right, okay, my bad. All right, so all right, so he's still a lot of comedians. I've noticed that a lot of comedians, their post COVID special is not that good. In general, I think that it's hard for them to find things to talk about, and the fact that he didn't spend a lot of time on COVID. That being said, this is post COVID. He didn't do anything actually about what, except for his dad being scared of COVID. Yes. And then people sitting around having too much time to think, but not the same type of jokes other people have done about COVID. I noticed. But I don't know. I think also Peacock just or Universal, who owns Peacock and NBC and all that, just paid him more money because his talk show also started last week. So between the two, I'm sure they were like, you can put out your stand up special, and we're gonna advertise. We can put out your talk show season 3. It's pretty impressive.
I know I don't know if he has one, but I know he does, movies for Peacock as well. So.
Oh yeah. Well, again, I think he has several contracts with Universal. I think most of his movies come out of Universal. So that's like he said in the special, it was Universal that paid for the jet that when he wanted to fly to George Floyd's funeral. Which again, I don't know how much of that is actually true. But it was hilarious.
I know that the people that he named were at the George Floyd funeral, and I'm watching CNN, and I'm like, this is random.
The joke or these people at the funeral?
No, the people at the funeral. It was just like it was because it was Tyler Perry is taking care of like the family, or jetting them wherever they need to go, or making the arrangements, or paying for the funeral, right? And it was Kanye West is there, but Kanye West is like in so masked up and you couldn't even tell it was him. It was just like it was just like a figure, like, that's Kanye over there, but you couldn't really see him. And then there's Ludacris and Tyrese and Kevin Hart is like, it was just like, okay, so this is just random. Like it just seemed random.
A lot of people,
like these people aren't even from like Minneapolis or
no. It was an opportunity. Everybody wanted to be seen supporting the issue, and they just showed up. But he mentioned Tyrese and Ludacris in this thing, and I think Ludacris was in the audience. They showed one of them. It had to be Ludacris. Ludacris was in the audience with somebody else. They did a flash on him, real quick. Could y'all see Kevin Hart playing a crackhead in a movie? I could. I could. I don't know if he'd be good as Chris Rock, but I don't know if he would though at this level. I don't think he would now.
He came close. He wasn't a crackhead. He by no means was he a crackhead, but he came kind of close right before the pandemic when he did that Bryan Cranston movie.
No, he was a former criminal. Yes, he wasn't on drugs by no means.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said he wasn't a crackhead, but he had like just like
shady criminal
and just
past
bad choice
activity.
making tendencies and
Yes,
yeah.
yes. I was actually, so that's the movie that Bryan Cranston was like, I won't work with you anymore. After not because of the movie, just because of all the bullshit he had to go through. Because that's when Kevin Hart's whole, like, he was supposed to do the Oscars, and then his whole anti-gay tweets came out, and then Bryan Cranston was on the promotional circuit for the movie, and all the questions was about Kevin Hart, and he was on Broadway, and he was like, I can't be up here defending Kevin Hart when I'm on Broadway, and there's a lot of gay people on Broadway. So like, that's one of the reasons why he was like, I'm sure that's the reason why he was like, you're a good actor, but I'll never work with you again. And I was like, hilarious. I was like, absolutely. I believe his talk show is far more entertaining than the stand-up special. In this particular stand-up special, like his talk show is actually pretty good.
I guess yeah, but it's guest dependent though.
Well, I hear you. I hear, because he has to have someone to bounce off of. But everyone I watch, I usually don't do interviews. I usually don't like watching interviews. But like he really does have genuine conversations with these people, and it can get uncomfortable, but they still laugh, and and it's good. I mean, I'm definitely gonna watch season 3. His Will Smith interview is the last one, because he knows everybody's going to want to watch that. But he did Chris Rock last season. He's doing Will Smith this season. That just shows you the level of star that he is.
No, there's nothing that will ever top the Don Cheadle interview.
That shit was good. That was, I know there was some funny moments in there. But a lot of them were pretty good. He interviewed some young hip hop star. I have no idea who she is. But she definitely put him on his back. Like he didn't know what to do with her. And I thought that was hilarious. But anyway, I would say this is a good special. If you haven't seen it, check it out. I'm happy that I didn't spend money on it. I mean, in the sense that, I paid on Peacock, but I'm not going to see anybody on tour. Like Chris Rock, again, my favorite stand-up comedian. But I'm not paying to see something I can see on TV eventually. So nah. But Kevin Hart is still going.
So let me. So Kevin Hart pre-pandemic was, I'm at the caliber of my specials come out in movie theaters. Is that not just done for him, but is that done for everybody going?
Yes. Yes. I would say only Kevin Hart could do it again. Kevin Hart, and maybe even it's done. It's done. But Kevin Hart's the only one that would do it. Everybody else would be like, I'm still gonna get a paycheck. So why do I give a fuck? If to your point, if Netflix is going to pay me $10 million a special, I'll just go ahead and do that. Like, why would I bother? Like, why? And actually, Kevin's interview with Chris Rock, they talked about that. They were like, why are we fighting or the box office numbers? Why are we sitting here scared about who's going to come to theaters when we can just get a paycheck, like, up front, and be done with it, and then and be like, it's only successful if people tune in. So I don't see that happening again. And if it does, it'll be Kevin. Kevin's probably the only one that would try it again. I think a better question would be, is he doing? How does he top, selling out a football stadium? Like, does he try to do that again? Because now it's like, again, Netflix pays for it, Peacock pays for it. He can just go to a Vegas place and do it. Like, it's not the size of the venue anymore, that brings that kind of oomph, to him anymore. So, does he try to do a soccer stadium? Does he? I don't know which one's bigger. Does he try to be like, hey, I can do that? Like that's what I think. That's what's next for Kevin Hart, if he does try to do that kind of on tour big show again. Or are we back as a society that he could do something like that?
I'm like, Chris Rock, it didn't work out for his special, but the idea of doing it live, I want to see more of that.
I hear you. I think Kev. I think that's another thing that the only thing kind of irritated me with with Kevin Hart's special was the constant zooming in. Like, whoever was directing it was doing too much, so they kept on like zooming in on him and everything. And that kind of got on my nerves. But I don't know. I think hmm, I don't know.
Because I'm like, what is it? Jay-Z, uh, they said he got an Emmy for the Dr. Dre Super Bowl and is nominated for the Rihanna one this
Oh,
year.
oh,
So I'm like, why is that? Why is it not a I have, like back in the day when uh
Eddie Murphy.
was it Richard Pryor would go on and like was it like I forgot Patty LaBelle or somebody would like open up for him. Like you would
Oh,
have a singer open up and then the comedian would come on and it would be like a full show in that regard. Why is it not um, something like that? Because it's just the comedian comes on, tells the jokes, and then that's it. But they come on to music. So I'm like, why not? Dave Chappelle has been doing that kind of, so to say,
yeah,
on his tours,
yeah.
but we've never actually seen that in any of his specials. He always
Mm.
removes the music element.
Well, I don't think it's him. I think again, it's Netflix. It's like really you're talking about Netflix. You know what I'm saying? Because they've been paying for like most of his shows, so like they're focusing on the main act. So when Chris Rock did his thing and they did a whole hour like pre-show with like other comedians, and then they did him. That was pretty significant. I mean, because like I said, most of them kind of focus on the main act, but everybody has a warm up act. Everybody, whether it be comedian or music or whatever. I've been to a Kevin Hart show. His opening acts are other comedians. To your point, most comedians just bring out other comedians. Like they don't bring out like actual music stars. Um, they could, and that would be a different type of special though. I think that would be something you would see on HBO to me if they did something like that. Not Netflix.
Because now that I think about it, Louis C.K.
Mm.
his last special, which he does everything himself, and it's like come to my website or whatever and buy it or whatever. Like he's not selling it to Netflix or any of these other companies, right? So
Mm.
you're watching it and you really feel like you're there because it has all of the awkward pauses and stuff. So it's like he's at Madison Square Garden. He is talking on the loudspeaker from backstage. He says, "Yeah, I'm gonna be out in a little while, but um, I want you guys to check out this band that I really like." And then he introduces the band. The band comes out, plays like 3 songs, and then he says, "Yeah, he's on the loudspeaker again, tells another joke about how the show might be canceled or something, and then says, nah, it's not really canceled." But then he brings out like 2 or 3 comedians to like warm up the crowd, and then he comes out. And it's like
Well,
like there's no cuts in between it. It's just
one
straight,
solid one solid
straight,
frame.
yeah,
Yeah.
one solid recording.
I mean that again. I don't see Netflix doing that. Nothing live shows. You talking about live shows? Like I remember Chris Rock had teleprompters. He had teleprompters when I saw him in person. He had teleprompters like on thing. Like I guess Kevin Hart is still at an age where he doesn't need that. You know what I'm saying? That so it would be interesting. Like a live show would have a lot of it would give him a lot of room. I mean, so maybe they
But
all
you,
mess
you
up.
say you say that, but I'm like, he's not. He needs something to stop him from laughing before telling the joke, though.
That's just one of the things. I mean, he's done that a few times in his previous, but it's like it's so funny to him that he's trying to get it out. Like, and I know
But he says to the crowd, Don't make me laugh." Like
that. You know what? That should be one of his themes. I mean, his next special should be called "Don't Make Me Laugh," and then that could be a solid theme in the show. Um, he's the only one that does that I've noticed. Like will laugh as he's trying to tell a joke. Like I've seen other ones like Dave Chappelle will hit the mic on the ground on his knee or something. Like when he think he lands a joke, that's his thing. Uh, like like Chris Rock, I can't remember if he has a particular thing, but I know Dave Chappelle does. When he thinks
Chris
he
Rock repeats.
All comedians do that. All comedians do that when they have a certain line they're trying to get across.
No, but he like I'm saying he does it as filler for like I'm trying to remember the next thing.
The next step, yeah, I get you. I get you. They'll be like, so he could like, okay, I got like 1, 2, got this is my next thing. I got you. But again, I think he did that a lot with his last special, but I think that's because he was just all over the place. And that was but of the three, which one would you say? How would you rank them? Chris Rock, Marlon Wayans, and Kevin Hart.
I'll go Marlon, Kevin, Chris Rock.
All right. I will go Kevin, Marlon. Damn. No, Kevin, Rock, Marlon. I can't. Okay, I can't. Damn it. This is hard for me. Because I do love Mr. Rock, but his shit. I mean, take my personal for Chris Rock out of it. It would be Kevin, Marlon, Rock. For performance, for professionalism, for hell you were saying before you were saying it, and it all came together. That's the order I would do it. I would do it. Yeah. Would you recommend? Would you recommend Kevin Hart to others? This special.
Yeah, I would say it's. I've seen a couple specials this year, and it's top 3 or 5. In the top 3 or 5 so far, and I'm like, I don't think we're gonna get pretty much anything else this year. I think all we're gonna get is reality.
Oh yeah, with the whole studio shutting down.
So I'm like, we might.
Content's gonna be bare. Content's gonna be bare for a while. You may get used to these talk shows and reality and unscripted television shows. We have to go backwards. We may have to start doing those '90s movies we've been talking about because content's gonna get bad. I'm
gonna tell you how bad it got. Right. AMC, the show with Mr. Bassett, Angela Bassett's husband, right?
Yes. Yeah.
They said we shot it and it'll never see the light of day, right? They put that out this week.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. They canceled season 2.
Yeah, and they put season 2 out this week.
They're like, we got to have something. We got to have something. I hear you. But as DeMarcus pointed out, all the Queen's men will be back next Thursday. Madam is in her craziness, so Tyler Perry will keep it going.
Tyler Perry is probably a scab, so you ain't got nothing to worry about.
I cat Williams over Kevin Hart. No, I cannot agree with that. I cannot agree with that.
I didn't even know Cat Williams came out with a special this year.
He in something. It's in something. Inconspicuous, incognito, something. I saw it on Apple TV somewhere. I mean, he does have a recent special. I cannot. No. Cat Williams fell off when we started breaking into houses. I can't do that. I didn't see Monique's special, but I heard that was shit anyway. But
man. If I was to put Kevin Hart up against Monique,
okay,
that's a real toss up. And I'll tell you this. Kevin Hart is like gone PC. I'm like, I know he's all about selling out, so to say, like he's about I need partners and sponsorships and advertise, as many deals as I can make. But when he starts off by, before I tell the joke, let me tell you that I didn't know this beforehand, and he's giving all these warnings and stuff. It really, I don't know, like diminishes or taints the joke going forward. Like,
well, again, you're talking about a man in particular. I mean, forget Brand. I mean, well, he was going for the Oscars, and they brought back tweets from 5 years ago. 5 years ago before that? So he has personally personally been hit up, and had backlash for things he said. Now, I mean, I'm sure he was just setting up the joke. I don't think anybody would be like, you're making fun of special needs people. But he did the same thing about the deaf people. I love that joke too. He's like, I was talking shit to these people. They weren't talking back. And I didn't realize they were deaf. And it looked like I was basically saying I want to eat his ass. I
No,
was like,
see, he didn't set when he did the deaf joke. He didn't set that up by giving like a disclaimer.
That would mess it up. That would mess up the punchline. Like you're not supposed to.
My exact point.
I'm saying, but like with the crazy horse one, it built it up because you were like, oh, like what's going on? And it's like, oh, he's special needs. Like it built it. I hear you. But I mean, I think that was part of the joke. I truly I wasn't taking it. He was like, please don't come for me. Like I think he was just trying to set up the joke. But I mean, but even again, he's someone who's faced his fair share of shit for things that's coming out of his mouth. And it's hurt his career at some level. But I think that one it was just part of the act. It truly was just part of the act.
But when it comes to that subject matter, that is, I'd say, about a third of Monique's special is
special needs people.
Yeah, I don't like her being in school and dealing with special needs kids, and I don't want to give it away because you said you haven't seen it, but it is
all right.
It is the funniest take on that you'll ever see.
I will leave that to you. All the Queensmen ratchetness at its finest. All the Queensmen will be crazy. So we do look forward to that next week. And we got some. We will be out this week. I'm leaving tomorrow. So I will see. So we are off this weekend, but we will be back next weekend with a few things. We got Average Joe, Judge Me Not. What else? All the Queensmen, Judge Me Not, Average Joe, Run the World. We got to say goodbye to Run the World. That's 4. I feel like there's something else we're supposed to do this week.
So Run the World is ending, and there's just going to be like a month and a half of nothingness until Force comes.
Force starts. Yeah, you're right. Stars. Yeah, you're right. For Black content, at least 4 stars. I don't know what's with Blind Spotting. I don't watch that show, but I think that could still be going. But anyway, we will have content for you when I come back. We'll be double up on some things. Jemani, anything else before we say goodbye?
I think that's pretty much it for
Reality Check.
For Reality Check, yeah.
All right. Then. Well, again, please check out Reality Check. It was pretty good. We both agreed that you should check it out. I should have showed this image when we first started. I couldn't find it. I'm still getting used to StreamYard, to be honest. The Brillo, the Big Review, and we are working on scheduling a debate or a ranking on the most savage baby mamas in the Power universe. How do we rank Noma, Tasha, Raquel, and Monet? So that's something we're working on to be hosted on his channel. We're doing that. But as we say again, please subscribe to the channel. Jemani, I thank you for your time. I will see you when I get back. All right, guys. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll see you in about another week.
All right.